journey, folks. It's been a lot of fun trying to make this work. I'm being totally sarcastic.
So there's a little bit of a delay, but they did just start. So
yes, we are on our way.
So we have Lugia and Jack speedruns here, and the interesting difference between these two runners is I believe this is our first race where one person's playing on Wii U and one person's playing on the Switch version of NSIU.
Correct.
So that'll be interesting to see some of the differences, and we'll kind of talk about those. One is exactly the same, but
you'll start seeing it. You'll start noticing as we go on. But the big difference is that the Wii U version saves considerable time due to loads. The loads are a lot quicker, ironically, in the Wii U version compared to the Switch version. But the Switch version has a couple of skips that the Wii U version lacks, and so the Switch version is going to end up catching up to the Wii U version as the race goes on, but not enough for it to cause the Switch version. The Switch version will still be behind at the end of the day.
Yeah, so we've determined it should be about, I believe it's 33 seconds of difference between the two games. So we'll just see what happens by the end. That might not even matter.
JackSR almost taking a death in 1-2. That was very close. He's not going to get the star because his star power ran out. Same with Lugia, though, so we're going to be doing this starless. They have an acorn, so it shouldn't be the end of the world. If they lose their acorn, it's going to be bad, though. Both players taking it safe. I'm a little worried that Lugia will make it, okay. I was worried Lugia was not going to make it.
Yep. The challenging one, too, is you get that star at the very beginning, and you want to take it all the way to the middle of the level to hit another question mark block. And if you hit that block while you still have star power, then a star will come out of it. But if your star power runs out, then it's just a normal question mark block with a coin. So then you don't have a star for the rest of the level.
And if you have acorn, the star doesn't really matter because you'll be able to fly to the secret exit. The reason runners do pick up the star is that you move considerably faster when you have star power, and so people want to make sure that they maintain star power for as long as they possibly can so that they can go as fast as possible. Because at the end of the day, this is a speedrun after all.
Mm-hmm. And now you should be seeing both runners switch to the other character in this run, Nabbit. And maybe you want to explain the difference between Luigi and Nabbit.
So there's actually, well, not only is there Lugia or JackSR going a bit backwards for the second there, but there's a difference between Nabbit and Luigi. So Nabbit is completely invincible compared to Luigi, so he won't take damage from enemies, which is why we switched to him in the underwater levels, because there's just so many enemies we can just plow right through them. However, Nabbit is unable to pick up any power-ups, so you won't see, despite him being invincible, you won't see him used a lot in the run, because the run capitalizes on that acorn power-up and the flight abilities that the acorn power-up gives us. So therefore, Nabbit's not going to be used a lot. The other difference you'll see here between the Switch version and the Wii U version is that in the Switch version, Nabbit has insanely quick swimming speed, and in the Wii U version, he has normal swimming speed. So Jack is going to save some time in this level because Nabbit swims faster in the Switch version compared to the Wii U version. You'll see Lugia got a 71 on the timer, whereas Jack got a 79. And I believe, YouVideo, correct me if I'm wrong, there's every in-game second is 1 second in real life. So that's about an 8-second time. That is an 8-second time save for the Switch version in this level.
Yep, something like that. And speaking of 8-second time saves, you're also going to see here on the Wii U version that Lugia is going to get some text boxes talking about the Miiverse. That isn't a thing on the Switch version, so you also do have that small time save over the Wii U.
That's true. Forgot about that. Either way, the other annoying thing that we speedrunners of this game absolutely hate is how long these cutscenes are. I'm pretty sure there's only like, what, 20, 15, less than 20 minutes of gameplay?
I'm going to be honest, I think this run is less than 50% gameplay, to be honest.
I don't know if it's that. I think
it feels like it sometimes.
It definitely feels like it because these levels are super short. We're going to be going ahead and moving on to World 5. Something really cool, just fun fact, I highly doubt we'll see runners do this, but the other day it was discovered that there is a way to save 2 seconds, or over 2 seconds in this level, due to momentum conservation. YouVideo run other Mario Bros. Games, so you can maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so basically on these vines here, if you let go of the D-pad when you jump off of them, your speed actually doesn't get capped. And so you just continue to like keep going really fast once you jump off of the vines, and it actually saves like 2 seconds throughout the level. And this is a huge thing because any percent is like super optimized for especially the Wii U version, and so 2 seconds is gigantic. And apparently this has been known for like 3 years by the guy who found it, and he just like happened to bring it up yesterday, and so, or 2 days ago, and so it's pretty funny that that was just found now.
Yeah. So some runners, I think last match Navadra tried doing it a couple of times, which is cool to see. I'm curious to see what other runners will try and do it. I'm sure you'll probably try and go for it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be implementing that into Deluxe.
Go ahead and moving on to 5-3. 5-3 is a pretty straightforward level. Oh, I guess right now we can also talk about a big difference between the Switch version and the DX version, because you'll notice that JackSR just got to keep playing the game. And Lugia is sitting here watching a cutscene at the end of 5-1. What happens is this cutscene shows off that Nabbit is stealing power-ups in all the different Toad houses in every world, and that you can go catch Nabbit in various levels. But because you can play as Nabbit in the Switch version, instead of just switching to Nabbit by some like Easter egg cheat thing in the Wii U version, because you're actually Nabbit after you complete 5-1, there's no reason to be Nabbit and then also see Nabbit steal something. It's like we're basically breaking the world. And so you basically skip that cutscene if you're Nabbit, and that saves, I believe it's like about 35 seconds, give or take like 2 seconds.
I think someone actually retimed it. It's like 37.
Oh,
it's quite a bit. Yeah, and of course, it's the Switch version still ends up being slower because of how slow the load times are, but it is like a nice way to save a lot of that back.
I think the Switch loses like 3 seconds per level just straight up to loads.
Yeah, it's considerably.
It's ridiculous.
It's a lot. So, interesting choice that both runners are going to use Nabbit for 5 Tower. Optimally here you would use Luigi, and there's actually a big skip you can do in this level, but it is really difficult, so I can understand why they would both not want to go for it in a no reset run.
And at the end of the day, you're only losing 20 seconds. Like, you can still get a very decent time without doing this trick. So,
yeah, like
it's understandable that they don't want to go for it.
Yeah,
like 25 seconds, 30 seconds maybe.
I'm just looking at the in-game times. Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, if you're going off in-game times, that's probably actually the smarter way to do it. We'll also see... Uh-oh, JackSR missing the Boom Boom. Doesn't lose that much time, though. That was a pretty decent-ish recovery. Normally, there's a visual cue that will allow you to hit Boom Boom immediately after the level, or after the boss fight begins. But JackSR missed that visual cue. I'm curious to see if Lugia will get it. And we can see Lugia's boss fight as we watch a giant cutscene again.
Yeah, the boss fights are very interesting because they're pretty trivial. You just jump on top of the enemies usually, and then wait for them to get back up and jump on them again. But the timing for like jumping on them again isn't quite as easy as it looks, because they'll like look like you can jump on them again, but they're actually still like invincible, and so you'll just take damage if you go too early. It's honestly worse on the Koopaling fights, and you'll get to see one of those in this run, where it looks like they've already popped out of their shells again and are ready to be hit, but they really aren't. Like, you actually have to wait a little bit.
You'll see that also in the Bowser Jr. fight. Like, if you jump on Bowser Jr. too early, you'll straight up just fall right through his character model.
Yeah, he's the worst one of them all.
We're moving on to 5 Ghost House now, and we're going to notice that JackSR is switching to Nabbit here. Optimally, you would also do this one as Luigi, but JackSR is going to do it as Nabbit, and I don't blame him. There's a lot of boos, and so it's really easy to lose Acorn in this level. And so it's just because the Acorn power-up is so trivial and important in this game, I can understand why JackSR wants to switch to Nabbit. And at the end of the day, it's like, what, a 5-second time loss for switching and then switching back?
Yeah, I think it's about 7 seconds, but Nabbit actually does save some time against Luigi in this level, so you do save a little bit back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is one of the hardest levels as Luigi, or at least when first starting out, this is one of the hardest
I would
levels
agree.
as Luigi.
I spent a lot of time practicing this level before I was starting to get it consistent.
Yeah, because, I mean, you see those spinning, like, rings of boos. You have to jump through them as Luigi without taking damage, which can be pretty difficult.
Facts. And now we're going to be moving on to my favorite level in the game, the auto-scroller 5S. Absolutely no sarcasm in there at all. Notice JackSR is continuing to use Nabbit here. One thing that JackSR could have chosen to done, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't switch to Toad. As a beginning runner, there's a special thing that the Switch version has over the Wii U version, where since you can actually play as different characters, like physically, instead of actually using like a cheat code, like Easter egg, like Lugia is using. So like Lugia is playing as Luigi the whole time, but we can actually go to a character swap menu in the Switch version, which is not possible in any other NSMB game. But because we can do that, we can theoretically like save power-ups on each individual character. And so you could start a run as Luigi, and because there's an acorn in this level, and you're already having to play the level normally anyway because it's an auto-scroller, a lot of beginning runners will intentionally choose to switch to Toad here so that they can get another acorn, so that if they lose their acorn for some reason later on in the run, they still have another acorn on their characters that they can easily swap to and not really lose much time.
Yeah, and there is other ways to get a backup acorn. You can also get what's called fireworks at the end of a level by getting the last 2 digits of your time to be 77. But that takes about, it's like 15 to 20 seconds. I don't know the exact number, but it's quite a bit of time. Versus switching to Toad there loses about 4 seconds. So
yeah,
it's a lot more worth it for the deluxe version. For Wii U, you can't do that. So if you do want an extra acorn, you do have to get the fireworks.
Which, to be fair, there are a lot of levels where it's pretty easy to wait for fireworks just due to the nature of the level.
Yes.
1-1, 7-2, 5 Ghost House, and a lot more where you can do that if you really want. If you really wanted to get a bunch of backup acorns due to the 77.
Yeah.
It is worth noting, though, that if you choose to go the fireworks route, I think it's about a 15-second time loss. I might be wrong on that, though. But it's something around that time save. That time loss, excuse me. If you choose to go the acorn route.
Yeah, and the other thing... Oh. Okay.
Jack is going Nabbit here. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, he's not going for the optimal strat. So, interestingly enough, Nabbit is slightly faster for 7-1, but the optimal strats for it are just really stupidly hard. So you would normally see Luigi used here, but Nabbit is just a good safe option, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue it's not even that safe of an option, because in my opinion, the movement here to do this level is not that hard. The only hard part is that maybe that final double jump.
Yeah, there's one jump off
here. There's one double jump that is kind of tight and could actually result in a death. If you do it incorrectly, but I feel like that one jump you just practice and get used to it, and it's really not that big of a deal, and you can avoid having to wait on those ice blocks all the time, whereas I don't know how much time Jack lost due to that. But I mean,
wasn't paying attention.
Lugia's doing it too, so I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Jack is switching back to Luigi for this level. I personally would have thought that he should stay as Nabbit. You know, if you're already Nabbit in 7-1, you might as well just stay as him, and it literally doesn't save any time, I don't think.
I don't know, maybe he's getting fireworks here? We should mention that you cannot get fireworks as Nabbit. Like, even if your time at the end is a 77, you still won't get the fireworks.
That's true. Well, at this rate, Jack's not getting fireworks. He's messed up too many times that he's probably gonna get a 75 if I had to guess.
76, I think. No, you're right. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Whatever. Oh, interestingly,
why is Lugia going
Lugia's doing
7-3? So it is known that 7-2 is significantly faster than 7-3, so maybe Lugia needs to check up on the routes. That might be a really easy time save for him.
Yeah, I believe Lugia just picked up this game pretty recently. Yeah, and kind of just went off his own strats. So yeah,
probably didn't know that there's a huge time. Yeah,
I don't know. That's
meanwhile, Jack is going into 7 Tower. He's going to 7 Tower as Nabbit too. That's really interesting.
I would not do that. There's a boss fight here that Luigi saves a ton of time in, so I'm really surprised that he used Nabbit here.
I would have most certainly done that, especially because you would probably lose it at the... You know, I guess I could understand. This part right here that Jack is in right now can be kind of scary, because I do believe the Fire Bros throw fireballs randomly. And so if you mess up your movement, you could accidentally get hit by a fireball, and so he's probably just paranoid of that happening. But
Yeah.
even then, I still would have gone the acorn and just panicked for 10 seconds and then gotten around the fireballs and been fine. Because another benefit of the acorn is that you can stick onto walls. So as long as you can get onto that top platform, you can just stick on the walls and not have to worry about the fireballs at all.
Yeah, you only have to worry about the fireballs for like 1 second, actually. Because you kind of just stay on the walls after that. You can get above the fire bros, so the random fireballs have no chance of hitting you because you're just so far above them.
Right.
With the acorn power-up. But yeah, this is the Kamek boss fight. It's super random. The blocks that he spawns, there's a couple random patterns you can get, and where he pops up is just random for the first 2 times. For the 3rd time, it's always in the middle, so at least we know that much.
True. But unfortunately, we won't be saving much time because we don't have the acorn, so we can't fly around to that random location and maybe hit him all 3 times without him spawning blocks after the first phase.
Yeah, the reason Luigi's so fast is because he can stay up in the air. You don't have to wait for Kamek to spawn more blocks to get back up to him.
And we should be clear, the only reason he can stay up in the air is because he has the acorn power-up. If he loses the acorn power-up, then it's just the same as Nabbit.
Yeah, he's pretty useless, to be honest.
The whole point of this game is the whole game revolves around being able to use that acorn power-up, and if you don't have that acorn power-up, then it's going to be very hard to do much of anything fast. And usually then it's just safe to switch to Nabbit because he's invincible and has the same movement as Luigi without an acorn.
Yeah, for the most part. It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because this level coming up actually does have an acorn in it. So if any of them had lost their acorn up until this point, it'd be like a good opportunity to grab another one without losing too much time.
But I don't think Jack has lost an acorn. He might go for a backup here. We might see him switch to Toad. Nope, he's just going to go as Nabbit.
No, that's interesting.
Which, at that point, he's going to save time, technically, because the normal movement through this level is going to force you to get fireworks, even if you play perfectly optimal. But because you're Nabbit, you can't possibly get fireworks. So he is saving time.
Yeah, Nabbit is faster here.
But on the deluxe version, because you have to actively switch characters, if you played as Luigi in the previous level, it would not have been faster. Because it would waste more time to switch characters than it would be to just wait half a second for the 87 instead of the 88.
Yeah, that actually goes for most of the run on the Switch version. You see a lot less of Nabbit in the Switch version than you do on Wii U, and that's just because the time it takes to switch is just so long, like you said. It's just not worth it enough to switch to Nabbit for like 1 level.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if the runners will be going for Luigi in 7 Castle. It is a lot more optimal and saves a good chunk of time because he can cling onto the walls. But nope, we're going into Nabbit. All right, welcome to the long haul, folks. And Lugia's probably going to do the same if I had to guess. There's a lot of Nabbit in this race. I mean, is it safe? Yeah. Is it fast? Not particularly, but if you're winning, does it matter? Also, what is Jack doing?
I think we should have a Nabbit-only tournament.
We should 80% Nabbit. I think that would be smart, because the Switch version needs to get that world record.
I've actually never seen that movement before. I've actually never seen that movement he did before, but it really did at least time, funny enough. I mean,
the one
Nabbit just loses time here in general. Yeah, Nabbit just loses time in this level in general, but that was interesting.
What he did just there, I think, lost time.
Yeah, he did.
Because he had to wait for it to go, the block to go out and come back. Uh-oh, and Lugia is gonna... Oh, okay, Lugia had a decent enough backup there. This level actually can be pretty hard if you're doing this with Luigi. I've lost a fair number of runs to as Luigi in this level, simply because the final jump between the fire bars can be kind of tight if you are just barely too slow. And most of the time, I'm just barely too slow.
The thing about it is, actually, if you slow down before getting to those fire bars, that jump is actually a lot easier. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think I did know that. I mean, I also have just started picking up this game, so...
But yeah, I should just mention on the Ludwig fight here...
Does he know of the visual cue to know which Ludwig is the real Ludwig? Because there is a visual cue. You'll notice if he shoots out, you'll see on Lugia's screen, if Ludwig shoots out 3 different energy bursts, then you know for a fact he's the real one. I should also note that you do lose probably, like, what, 5-6 seconds if you don't have Acorn here? Because if you had Acorn, you can just jump up and fly on top of Ludwig before he makes clones of himself. And that saves a good bit of time.
Yeah, it saves quite a bit.
And in this game, 5-6 seconds is a fair amount. Not make it or break it for a beginning runner, but definitely a fair amount.
I think, I think it's pretty easy compared to the other games in the series to get to like a top level in NSLU, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would say, yeah, within a few weeks of running, a lot of people are already getting to the point where a couple seconds is a lot.
Yeah, that's true. But I think right now these two players are both fairly new runners yet to have sub-30s. So
Yeah. No, definitely they have some leeway to like use Nabbit and
Jack
stuff
is
to be safe.
switching to Luigi. I'm curious to see if he knows how to do this airship skip. There is a really there's a skip that you can do that skips an auto scroll, the first half of the auto scroller in this level. It looks hard. It's really not that hard, but it's really easy, but you have to know like the two places you have to jump. And if you don't know those two places, it could be pretty hard. So I'm curious to see how Jack goes about doing it. He's going... Oh, I thought he was going for your strat.
Okay.
He is
Yeah,
going...
I do like a different strat.
I'm a little worried. I am, like, freaking out right now. I am worried. There is a way you can do this a lot... Okay, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
I feel like this is one of those levels that people try to take slow to make it easier, but it actually just makes it harder.
It makes it so much harder. You can actually jump if you jump off of. So there's two question blocks immediately at the beginning. If you jump off of that question block and glide and then land on the middle question mark block, is that right? Of the set of three afterwards?
To be honest, I don't really remember that, like the visual cues, but all I know is you literally just do 2 full jumps and that's the skip.
Yeah.
You just hold B 2 times. It's really easy.
It is really easy. It is also pretty easy to mess up if you mistime it. Like I have multiple times. I'm pretty sure it is the middle question mark block. I have multiple. Yeah. I have multiple times like jumped too early on that question mark block, and then I'll take damage from the bob-ombs that are falling down. And so it's pretty easy to execute, but also is somewhat tight and can be pretty easy to mess up if you're not paying attention. JackSR, however, having a very clean Bowser Jr. fight from what I could tell. He did, I think we should note that he...
It was almost bad.
Okay, I wasn't also paying attention, so, to be fair. He did it, he got out, we're good. I should also note... he made it through, he made it through with an acorn. I should also note that you can save, I think it's like a second, right? If you land on the far left side. You want to talk about that, maybe?
Yes, it's about a second. Well, first I just want to mention Bowser Jr., the way he works is you can't actually damage him until his clown car is moving. So if they try to go like while he's still, it'll look like you can land on him, but you'll just get damaged instead. So that's what makes this fight so difficult. But then, after the fight ends, you want to glide to the left and land on that very left block at the bottom of the screen. Because after the fight ends, they all like fall to the bottom, which like triggers the next cutscene. And the left one just happens to fall first. Like they fall from left to right. You'll see it here in a second. And so, just getting on the left one lets Luigi hit the bottom of the screen faster and trigger the cutscene.
Yeah, almost taking a death. Sorry, I didn't put it up. I was just a little bit concerned for Lugia. Lugia's having a hard time with this Bowser Jr. fight.
It definitely gets hard if you don't hit him immediately.
Yeah, if you don't hit him immediately, it does make this a lot more challenging.
So Jack is switching to Nabbit for 8-1, which is honestly a pretty smart choice. Because 8-1 is another instance of RNG in this run, where you have these random meteor patterns, and they don't affect most of the level, but at the very end, you're relying on the meteors to open up the area where you get the secret exit. And so once they do open it up, and you jump up there, there is a small chance that a random meteor will just come and hit you. Depending on how fast
Oh my gosh, how was he not dead? That was an incredible save by Jack. Very close.
It's an interesting...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. So Nabbit shouldn't get hit by those meteors.
He is getting so many close calls. I literally am on
really interesting 8-1 movement.
Very shocked he's fine.
Yeah, see, up in that area, he probably would have gotten hit if he was Luigi, because of that one meteor that came down.
Definitely a nice safe strat that I think a lot of runners will intentionally choose to use, even if they're a little bit more skilled. Like, I know that I don't have an amazing time, but I definitely have a semi-viable time in this game, and I guarantee you every race I will be going as Nabbit in that.
Yeah, I've pretty much decided if I'm not on pace for a PB, going into 8-1, I'm just gonna switch to Nabbit. Or look, if I'm ahead, because if I can afford to lose those 6 seconds, I'll just do it, or 7 seconds, I think, because it's just so much safer, and I don't want to jeopardize the rest of my run to losing Acorn there.
Now, if you are fast enough, you can get a 77 pretty easily in this level, without Acorn. But we'll see. JackSR is also not going for the most optimal movement here. Okay. Okay. Oh, and he lost Acorn. That's part of the reason why I am shocked he did that. He's gonna have to wait for this cycle too.
He could get a 77 at the end here. I don't know if he's gonna be fast enough.
It's not gonna be. He's gonna if he like runs at it, he will.
He might be able to get it.
Oh, yeah,
if he can get a 77, okay, that's really good backup because
that was really close to not being good backup though. He was very close to missing that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Oh yeah, I guess Latcher says in chat he uses Nabbit in 8-1 and still has a fast time. Using Nabbit in 8-1 in the OG version or the Wii U version of the game is actually faster because, like we said, it doesn't take any extra time to switch to him. So
literally every runner in NSLU OG will probably be using Nabbit.
Yeah, I didn't even mention this. In original version, if a level is the same speed as Nabbit or Luigi, it's always faster to use Nabbit because for whatever reason, Nabbit's animation of like jumping off the flagpole is faster than Luigi's. I have no idea why.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's not true in the Switch version.
It is actually true.
Oh, it is also still true in the Switch version.
Yeah, and it makes up for the extra seconds that are added on for Nabbit's time. So that's why you use Nabbit in 5.3 instead of Luigi. I used to use Luigi there until I figured out Nabbit was like maybe like a 1/10 or 2 of a second faster.
Interesting. Well, and also at the end of the day, Nabbit's also safer for a level like that.
Yes, he is.
Lugia getting some interesting cycles with the... oh no, Lugia! Messing up those cycles. That can be a pretty hard... Oh, and Jack loses Acorn. This is one heck of a ride, folks.
To be honest, though, I think that was the first death from any of the runners, so that's...
That's true. That was the first death. Lugia is still on pace for a PB, considering his...
yeah, he is. For sure.
Jack also, too, on pace for... Well, yeah, he should be on pace for a PB as well,
like
even
a
without
small
Acorn.
PB, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult, because...
well, he's got a 32, so he's got a decent... Even without Acorn, he's got a decent shot at a PB, as long as he doesn't take...
I don't know exactly what his PB is, but yeah.
It's like a 32XX, I think. So he's got lots of room for a PB here.
Yeah, if you play 8-4 as Luigi, there's like a certain cycle you make. Like it's like a very cycle-based level, but as Nabbit, I'm not really sure like how to do it. Obviously, he's using Nabbit for that, and that's probably what I would do as well.
Yeah.
That basically guarantees him to finish the run. Yeah, as long as he gets past this first room, he's basically guaranteed to finish the run because there's basically no way to die after this unless you run out of time.
Which, that would be very hard to do.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do.
Jack playing it safe. Ooh, wow, that was close.
To be honest, I don't think anybody's actually worked on, like, finding strats for Nabbit for this first room.
Yeah. I had one run where I was Nabbit. I was raced against Nevadra, or a race against someone. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. Oh my god! He could have saved that. Oh
if he had just held right there at the end, he would have saved it.
Yeah.
That was almost really good.
Wow,
really good save.
I still shoutouts to Jack. That was absolutely incredible movement, not gonna lie. Like, holy cow.
That would have been pretty insane.
Worried.
Oh gosh.
That was really close. I don't know why Lugia waited. He waited for the bomb to come, and the bomb just ended up landing on the platform anyway. Not sure why he chose to do that.
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like 8 Elevator is another one of those levels where doing the skip is actually easier than doing the level the intended way. I would honestly
agree. The only hard part I would feel is jumping between the electricity at the very, very end, but even that is not that hard once you get used to it.
Yeah,
and, like,
there's
you can
lose 1 second at the end.
You can lose 1 second by going intentionally too low and flying up, and that's practically free.
It's very easy. Yeah, there's a very easy strat there that makes the elevator skip much easier than doing the auto scroller.
Right.
And I feel that, these guys have just started running the game, and they'll probably start implementing that stuff soon enough.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Latchers also makes a good point that you can save another 0.5 seconds by doing another difficult jump, and I believe that would be at the very beginning, or not at the very, very beginning, but when you crouch under the bomb.
Yeah, honestly, that
run.
one's pretty easy. I don't know. I've just done it now. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. So, we're almost done here. Jack just finished up the first phase of Bowser, which is literally just jumping over him. Your jump is really overpowered in this game compared to New Super Mario Bros. U, so you can just do stuff like that.
Yeah, in New Super Mario Bros. U, if you don't have an acorn, you're waiting pretty long. You're basically waiting on RNG for Bowser to be able to jump so that you can run under him. Unless you go for, actually it's a lie, if you're really good, if you do the triple jump wall kick and then get enough speed, you can jump over him with that normal jump.
Yeah, I guess FYI, I think Jack could No, he could definitely PB still, but with like a good Bowser.
Yeah, that's true. He'd need a really good Bowser.
Which
and I'm not sure.
Say,
to be fair, as a new runner, like Bowser fights are kind of hard in this game.
Yeah, it's.
You have to give
it took me a minute to get a good Bowser fight in a run.
Like once you get it, like once you understand what to do, it is not that difficult to get a really good Bowser here. But if you don't know what you're doing, and even if you know what you're doing, but you don't figure out how the movement works, it can be pretty challenging.
Yeah, so basically what they're going to try to do here is get the cart from Bowser Jr. and use it to hit Bowser, right? But then afterwards, Bowser Jr. is going to try to get back to the cart, and they're going to try to jump on him and steal it back before he gets away, which didn't happen there. And so if he gets away, it's somewhere between like 20 and 30 seconds. I'm not exactly sure how much. It's a lot of time loss. Fortunately, because he is Nabbit here, there's pretty much no way he can die.
That is probably actually going to be Rip his PB, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is. It is, unfortunately.
To be fair, though, this has been a pretty close race. Lugia is definitely on pace for a PB.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty big one as well.
Yeah, by a good couple, 5 minutes.
Let's see if he gets Bowser Jr. this time. Yep, so you see he knocked him.
Bowser Jr., but then he got knocked by the Bowser shell. If he gets
whatever works.
Under! Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the backup, is letting him... Yeah, you let Bowser go over you as a backup there. I think that's a pretty cool strat.
Oh my, that is not good. You're not getting that back. Inside that Bowser hitbox, Rip that clown car.
So like I said, this fight has a lot of randomness to it, and if that clown car falls within Bowser's hitbox and you don't get there before your invincibility frames run out, there's basically no way to get that car back.
I have not caught how many hits Lugia has. I am curious to see if Lugia is actually going to be able to take this.
Oh. That's a good point, yeah.
Well, no,
I would venture to say he has 3. GG to Jack.
GG to Jack. Not too far off of his PB. Lugia definitely still has a chance of PBing. Actually, not even. He should PB straight up. Latchers also wants us to point out that playing on gamepad saves time, and he thinks that's kind of cool. That's all I have to say about that. But GG's to Jack.
I didn't even hear what you just said. But...
Oh, I just said that Latchers wanted us to note that you save time using gamepad, and he thought that was cool. And I thought I would just say it and then just leave it at that, personally.
And actually, fun fact, on the Switch version, handheld mode is actually faster for character changes, but it literally saves 2 frames.
Gotta get those 2 frames, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
GG's to Lugia.
Alright.
Lugia also got a PB. Looks like he put in chat it's a 34:06.
Nice.
So, that is a very hefty PB by a good 4 minutes. So, congratulations to Lugia for that PB.
Alright, well, looks like whenever they are ready, we're going to go on to the second race here. That was pretty close. So that was
a really close race. That was really good.
I guess we should explain why gamepad is faster.
I
For
guess.
for the save prompts, so it asks you if you want to save, and of course it's slower to save, so you want to hit no. But like basically it already has it like selected for you, or your how do I put it? Like if you were to
Because
just
you have a
press A,
touchscreen, you have a
yeah,
touchscreen, so you can tap it versus having to move the control stick to the left once and then pressing A.
exactly. Yes, yeah, you don't have to arrow over to hit no. That's
So in the
literally the
Switch
only
version,
difference.
so I know in the Switch version you can just spam B and you don't have to navigate. Does that
Yeah,
not exist in the Wii U
it's
version?
no, it doesn't exist for some
Why?
reason. I have no idea why they made that change. Or yeah, I don't know. It's really weird.
That's
Wii U
whack.
has some weird quirks to it. Wii U, I believe, also has like a bit of delay when you press the ZR button, like to fly up in the air.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Switch version doesn't have that. I don't know. Like Wii U has some weird stuff that they fix on the
Wii U was a
Switch.
bad console, let's just be real. Rip the Wii U.
Alright, so yeah.
We'll be moving on to round
ready
2.
go whenever the two runners are.
As long as they hit that reset, we'll be moving on to race 2. So I'm trying to think what happened this run that maybe could be improved for next run. Like, what were some big, obvious mistakes that the runners made? I know Lugia died in 8-4, so that could be something to fix. So maybe Lugia avoiding 8-4. If Jack had kept Acorn in Elevator, he probably would have gotten a sub 30, I think.
He would have been on pace
PB,
for
but I
sub
think
30.
honestly a sub 30 if he had kept Acorn past the elevator. So that could be. I think that's Jack's big time save. There is keeping Acorn. And I guess for both of them, a big time save would be airship skip. I am honestly like in genuine shock that Jack was able to get the airship skip that he did without losing Acorn or dying.
You know, yeah, and just, well, in general, I think just using Luigi a bit more, but I don't think we're going to see that in the second race.
I agree that we're not going to see more of that, unfortunately. A lot of Nabbit, a lot of waiting, a lot of patience. It is a virtue, though. We can learn to be patient.
Fun challenge for anyone in chat who might be here. If anybody wants a free world record, look up New Super Luigi U Deluxe Nabbit only.
Oh god.
Speedrun.
That's such a meme.
Yeah, like nobody's actually tried on that category, so
no one has gotten an attempt on that has 0 deaths. Like no one. That world record is awful.
yeah, so Super 64 guy actually.
Is it still me?
Yeah, you have the record, but it was literally your first attempt at the category.
I literally had never tried running that game. Like, I straight up did 0 warm-up. I hadn't watched any runs. Like, 0 warm-up, hadn't watched anything, just did the run, was like, let's just see what happens. And I got world record by like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
With two deaths.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, my, like, quote-unquote world record stood for 6 months, and it had 4 deaths in it, and I didn't have any strat.
And it was better by like a minute, wasn't it? Wasn't it like an insane? Yeah. It was like an insane, notable difference, I thought.
No, I only beat the other one by like 12 seconds or something, but I mean, I just let it stand because I didn't really care. I don't know. It's just kind of a meme at this point.
It is honestly.
Yeah, okay, actually, Luigi raises a good point. Nabbit, doing 1-2 as Nabbit is actually kind of hard, but that's the only really hard part of that run.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there's... I don't think anyone's done Nabbit all castles. Maybe one person has. I don't know. I think it's kind of a funny meme.
Or at least all castles Nabbit. That would just make me go insane.
No. I don't really have any urge to do that as well.
So, can we get some hashtag Nabbit for 100% IELTS in chat, please? Maybe we should talk about why I made that joke a thing.
Yeah.
So technically, I'll go ahead and explain that. So it's been a meme that we say hashtag Nabbit for 100% IELTS because, see, the mods took away the ability. So IL stand for individual levels, and there's an any percent category, so beat the level as fast as possible, and a 100% category, get all the star coins as fast as possible. And technically, when you beat a level as a Nabbit, you get a purple space instead of a blue space, and technically you can't 100% the game until you get all blue spaces. And so they decided to take away the 100% Nabbit only category because you don't actually clear the level with a blue space, so it doesn't actually count as 100% completion. But the joke is that, you know, that's just we're just discriminating against Nabbit now. So you can't just take away that. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, and I think the real reason that was I think the real reason he was actually taken away was because most of the levels in the game you can't even actually get all 3 star coins as Nabbit.
Oh, that's also true.
Yeah, I think that was actually the real reason.
I didn't even think
you
about
know,
that.
Yeah.
I assumed it
whatever.
was what I said, which honestly makes more logical sense. But to be fair, now that I think about it, there probably is a fair number of star coins that doesn't even work.
Yeah.
The other joke we have is that there's a wrong warp in NSMB UDX if you 100% World 1 as Nabbit. And that you can get like a 30, and then you can get. Oh yeah, you didn't know about the wrong warp, dude. Lam and I found a wrong warp in NSMB UDX, and if you 100% World 1 as Nabbit, you just get a 34XX immediately. Like, there's just like a free 34XX, and it's like Lam has the world, or Lam does not have the world record, but I'm just shocked Lam hasn't gone for it because like he discovered it, and like we've yet to see it. We've yet to see it implemented.
All right. Well, looks like we're getting into
every
the
day.
next
You
race
video.
here. Yes, I do.
Yeah, we'll be kicking things off soon here. Glad we could entertain you guys with some stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore surrounding this game. It's quite the intricate storyline.
Let's be real.
A wide cast of
it only has so
characters.
much lore because there's not enough runners who run the game, and they're all great storytellers. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all got creative imaginations.
By the way,
if you guys want to go ahead and get going, you guys can get going. We are just killing time, telling beautiful stories. All right. As we're going ahead and getting ready here, I think we're waiting on Lugia to go on that file. But as we're waiting, thoughts on race 2? Do we think we're going to a game 3? I wouldn't be shocked if we go to a game 3, honestly.
Yeah,
that was a really close game. I wouldn't be shocked if we go to a game 3. That'd be really fun to see. I think we've yet to. I haven't actually seen all the matches, but I think we've yet to see a game 3. Is that correct? Because Navadra's game didn't go to a game 3. And nope. I don't think Tom Merrow's game went to a game 3.
I didn't see that match. I saw Navadra's, but yeah. No, it'd be interesting.
Still killing time. Still waiting on the runners.
Hold on. I think my stream might have frozen, or I don't know. I lost audio.
I lost audio for Jack. Yeah, I think Jack's stream is frozen because Lugia's is fine.
Okay, never mind.
But I lost audio as well. I'm not sure what happened with Jack's stream. We should probably figure out what's going on there. Oh, got it back. Never mind.
I think we're just waiting on Lugia.
Yeah, at this point, we're just waiting on Lugia. We are all good to go.
Do you want to talk a little bit maybe about like the different characters and like what their differences are?
Oh, true. Yeah, I can go ahead and talk about that while we're waiting.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this, and this really only applies to the Switch version, unfortunately, but the selling point of the Switch version was, since it was basically the same game as the Wii U version, the selling point was the addition of Toadette as a playable character. And Toadette functions significantly differently than a lot of the other characters in the game. And I actually would be surprised if, as the tournament goes on, a lot of new beginning runners choose to go for Toadette as a backup, which would be interesting. But anyway, Toadette and Nabbit are... You notice that Luigi is a very slippery character, and kind of wobbles around and has a hard time, you know, staying in one place at one time. The nice thing about Toadette and Nabbit is that they are a lot more stickier. a lot more stickier. That was bad grammar. They're a lot stickier if you think about it like that. They have a lot more friction in terms of their movement, and so it's really easy to pivot with those characters, and it's really easy to stop, which is useful with Toadette and Nabbit. The other benefit that Toadette has is that she gets this special power-up in the Switch version called the Super Crown, which is basically a Super Acorn. But
is it really a benefit?
Is it really a benefit? We'll get to why it's not really a benefit in a minute, but it's a benefit for casual players who are not as good at the game, because it will, if you're about to die, it'll automatically vault you upwards, so that you don't die. So you get this one free death avoiding thing. But the reason speedrunners were excited when the game came out, because they thought, oh wow, the Super Crown actually might be cool to use in speedruns. There might be some useful things we can do with it. But we found out when the game came out that it's Peachette is the form that Toadette turns into when she gets the Super Crown, and Peachette flies like noticeably slower than a Super Acorn. And then everyone recognized that there was literally no point in being the Super Acorn because it's so much slower to fly. Though, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're on the Switch version and you have no acorns, or you have no backup acorns, there are literally if you're playing as Toadette, there are Super Acorns, like, everywhere. Like, they just literally take over, like, every power-up in every level. So, I mean, if you wanted an acorn, you could just switch to Toadette and find some Super Crown somewhere in a level and at least be better off. Like, it would still be a time loss, but it wouldn't be as bad as, say, having no acorn.
Yeah, but
It's
you
not
definitely...
so much true for this. It's not so much true for this game, I feel like, because your jumps are so high. But it is a big deal in NSMBU. Sorry, I interrupted you. Video, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say you definitely can't like try to use the same strats with Super Crown as with Acorn.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Anyway, we're in race number 2 here. Oh.
I will say, you were mentioning that it does make that Toadette could be easier for new runners for 5 tower skip because she is a bit stickier, and so you can turn around really quickly at the end of after you do the timed spin twirls.
Yeah, I actually
chain balls.
When I first picked up this game, I used to use Toadette for the start of the run instead of Luigi, like you're seeing here. And that's just because I found her easier to control for, particularly for 1, 2, and for 5 tower. Just because those levels aren't just like running to the right and jumping. There is actually some like turning from left to right and stuff. And like you said, she does pivot a lot easier than Luigi. It's kind of just up to preference though. Toadette, however, does lose a little bit of time because on the clock, they add 200 seconds for each level that you do
100.
as Toadette.
100,
or is
not
it
200.
Shoot, yeah, Nabbit's 200.
Nope, Nabbit also is 100.
Really?
Well,
okay.
100 seconds.
Huh, okay, well it adds 100 seconds as Toadette, and at the very end of the level, those seconds have to tick down all the way to 0, so it does lose some time to use Toadette, but it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. Definitely still good for a
Alright.
backup. Solid 7-1 by Jack. I feel like he struggled on 7-1 last run, and that was a much better 7-1. A 71 for a beginning runner is not bad.
Yeah, Lugia, I'm not really sure what he could do.
Oh, Lugia got a death.
Yeah, because he got hit, and so if you don't have a star power-up, there's not really any way you can make that jump at the very end without
Did I
the
say
acorn.
7-1 Latchers? I meant 2, what? Or 1-2. I don't know what you're talking about. You literally, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Latchers. I said 1-2 this whole time. Duh. Anyway, Lugia going back to 1-1 for that acorn. Why is he quitting? Oh, because he died, I guess?
Yeah, this is a rough start.
Why is he going to main menu?
Is he just gonna start? He might have
He
forfeited.
claims he already lost. I mean, that's not true. But, I mean, like, with the way Jack's been playing, like, he easily
Well, it
could've
looks
caught
like he
that
just restarted it. Alright, well, I mean, that's a valid decision, I guess. But it's gonna be hard for him to come back from that.
Yeah, I'm making that decision instead.
I understand that frustration. It's kind of
Yeah.
annoying to, like, start a run and immediately, like, die or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Love it when you're doing a no reset run for NSMBU or NSMBU DX, and you either miss fast enough or you're just straight up stupid and ground pound right in front of the waddle wing, so you just die like 5 seconds into the run. Can't tell you how many times I've done that.
Yeah, NSMBU has a more difficult 1-1 than this game does.
Yeah.
For sure.
NSMBU just in general is just a very hard game.
Yes, and I think that's why I feel like this one works better for a tournament setting, because you're going to see a lot more consistent runs.
You're going to see a lot more consistent runs and also a lot shorter runs.
Yeah.
Like, there was an NSMBU tournament that happened over the summer, and everyone was all over the board. Like, there would be some times where I would be getting 41 XXs, and there were literally other races where I was getting 47 XXs. It was literally all over the board for literally everyone in that tournament. Not a single person playing in that tournament was consistent.
No, I ended up dropping it, but yeah, my first few races that I did were not consistent in the slightest.
To be fair, it is a very hard game to be consistent at. There's a lot of there are more skips in that game than any other NSMB game, I believe. And other NSMB games maybe have harder movement, but there's a lot of like levels in NSMBU where you literally are having to do like intentional like auto scroller skips or something like that, and those are pretty challenging.
Yeah, and I guess if you want like a comparison of the two games, the levels are all kind of like similar concepts between the two, because it's pretty much the same any percent route with a few minor changes. The levels are like similar concepts, but the Luigi ones tend to be like way shorter. They also don't have checkpoints.
And that's due to the fact they are significantly shorter. Also, check the timer U video. It says 178. Therefore, 100 seconds.
Oh yeah, you're right. But Toadette, I swear Toadette will get 278. I'm like positive, but I don't think we're gonna see anybody use Toadette.
No, we're not. I don't think so. Well, the only person who could even use it is Jack.
Right.
And I doubt it will be. I doubt he will.
He would have no reason to use Toadette, yeah. But yeah, I guess I mentioned this earlier, and I don't know if anyone really heard it, but 5-3 is one of those levels you can do as either Nabbit or Luigi, and it's the same speed. But Nabbit animation of like jumping off the flagpole, for whatever reason, is just faster than Luigi's. And so even though Nabbit has like those extra seconds on the clock that have to count down, it's still a little bit faster to use Nabbit for Deluxe. And for original NSMBU, Nabbit doesn't have the extra seconds, so it's like definitely faster in original. Okay, Latcher says Toadette is only plus 100.
No 5T skip again, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's such a scary strat.
It is like, that is like the first major reset point in the run. Unless you're U-Video and you're stupid because you do Nabbit in run 2.
Oh yeah. Nobody really goes for that.
Really reset point. No one goes for that except for Latch in U-Video.
And Navadra now.
And Navadra now, yeah.
Does M-Chan go for it? I thought he didn't.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe I just said that to say that.
Yeah.
Definitely Latch, definitely U-Video, definitely Navadra.
Yeah, Nabbit 1-2 is
also
significantly harder.
Half a second.
Yeah, it's significantly harder than Luigi 1-2, and it saves about half a second.
Like, there are a fair number of runners that can do it, because, like, clearly I can do it, otherwise I wouldn't be having the world record in Nabbit %. But that doesn't mean...
Yes.
That was also after, I mean, a fair number of resets to get 1-2. So I guess technically it wasn't my first run, it was my first completed run, by technicality. Latcher just makes a good point, though, that Nabbit in 1-2 isn't faster in Deluxe because Luigi can do mid-air spin, so he could... Yeah, that's true. So he could press the B button instead.
I don't know if that's true, because I think when you press the B button, you still get a glide. And so... I guess we should mention...
Not if you have airfoil on, you press the B button instead of the trigger button.
Yeah, no, but you would still get a glide if you press the B button. The reason Luigi is slower for 1-2 is because when you go to the secret exit, you glide over to it, and when you glide with the star power, you actually go back to normal running speed rather than the star running speed. And the only way to do midair spins with Luigi like that would be to press B. So I believe you would still get a glide and slow down. So I don't think Luigi's any faster.
Though I feel like
The
you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think even with the 100 seconds, like Latcher says, I don't think Nabbit ends up being worth it. It's actually like a really small difference.
I would also say, to Latcher's point, while you do get you would only get a glide if you held the B button. But if you just tap it, I feel like you wouldn't automatically go for the glide. You'd be able to tap it again for another midair spin. I could be wrong though.
You know, I honestly should just try it. Why argue?
Yeah. True. Can't argue if you don't have facts and logic, am I right?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It seems like Latchers has tried it. Anyhow, let's talk about the levels they're actually doing. So they're in
Facts.
5 Ghost House now. Or Jack is.
What did Jack just lose time to bad movement, I guess?
He
Instead
just
of
like backs, yeah.
Okay. I mean, still not a terrible 5 Ghost House.
No,
like by any
he's
means.
doing fine.
Honestly, on pretty decent pace coming out of 5 Ghost House, not gonna lie. For a Nabbit percent. Pretty much.
Well, not true Nabbit only, but yeah.
Well, yeah, well, not true Nabbit only, but like pretty much Nabbit percent because he came out of 5 Tower using Nabbit. Practically. Yeah. Y'all get it. Y'all get the point. It's decent pace. Definitely sub 30 pace. Again, Jack not choosing to go for the backup. I'm wondering if that's maybe a bad play.
Well, I'm wondering if he knows that it's even an option. I feel like a lot of people don't know that it's an option.
It's one of those things where it's like hidden in plain sight and you don't expect it to be a viable option, but it actually is.
Yeah, I try to bring it up pretty often because I know a lot of people don't know about it or don't do it. And it's funny how many people will refuse to do it even when they have like minutes to save. And then
it's
like
weird. It's because a lot of people, to be fair, have this I'm gonna go for the world record immediately mentality because they look at an NSMB game and they think, oh, all you do is run and jump. How hard can it be?
I'm not even gonna lie, I had that mentality at one point. But yeah.
I mean, you're also U-Video. Let's just put that out there.
I don't think that really means anything, but yeah.
Anyway, a lot of people have that mindset, and then because they have so much to improve, but they still have this mindset of, oh, I'm gonna get world record immediately, kind of a deal. I can just immediately implement those strats, and that's not necessarily true. You still have to work at getting the basic movement down before you can start going for those harder strats. And so
I think here's my argument is because I actually did do like the backup acorn strat when I initially started off, and I still was able to get the world record pretty fast just because of the fact that I think having that backup acorn let me get through more runs like when I'm starting out, and it let me get consistent at the entire run rather than just like the early levels. And so I was able to get like a pretty decent time pretty quickly because of that.
That's another interesting.
Because I wasn't resetting every time I got hit.
Right. That's another really interesting point about speedrunning is that a lot of people practice the beginning and don't get much chance to practice the end because they because they reset so many times they don't ever get to the end. I have my save files intentionally set in World 8 so that I'm forced, whenever I boot up the game to practice, I am forced to start with the end of the game. For practice.
Yeah, it's definitely important to practice World 8. I would say this game's World 8 isn't terribly hard. World 7's probably harder.
Probably the hardest in World 8. And I have put a fair amount of time into World 8, 8-4 specifically.
I don't know, I would argue 8 Castle's harder, but yeah.
I also don't have a great 8 Castle, so maybe that's just where I need to be putting my time into instead of 8-4.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, Lugia taking a death there.
Yikes.
So, yeah, like we said, the levels don't have checkpoints in this game, so every time you die, you have to go all the way to the start. And in the Wii U version, because you don't actually like switch to Nabbit on the world map, if you die in a level as Nabbit, it treats it as you dying in the level as Luigi. So even if you were playing as Nabbit and you die, you still lose your acorn power-up, which is, honestly, it just kind of sucks.
Oh, and that's another death. He's not getting the star. Is that why he's not making that jump?
Yeah, I think that's why. That's rough.
Hopefully Lugia does not go Nabbit in 5S so that he can get the backup acorn.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, he's just blazing right by that star. Must have just not been paying attention.
Yeah,
because
actually,
his
so
last
fun
race, he must
fact.
have not done that. So I guess it is possible to do it without star.
Well, yeah, and the funny thing is, the star actually only saves like 1 second here. But it does save
Is
time.
another death. Yikes. And it also definitely makes it easier.
Lugia said star, question mark?
Yep, there's a star on that level. Yes, sir.
It's hard. I would explain where.
pretty hard
Okay,
star to
there's
get.
like
It's hard to
there's
explain.
coins. Yeah, well, there's a row of coins, and then there's kind of a space in the middle, and then more coins. So it's above that. There's like some
There
hidden
you go.
blocks.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Mostly because that is the way to describe it.
I don't know if he's gonna find it. I'm not sure what's up with Jack right now, but it looks like Lugia made that jump. So that's good. Coming up on the Kamek boss fight, we'll see how this goes. I can't imagine doing this as Nabbit. It's so difficult if you aren't able to like glide in the air after hitting him.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunate RNG for Jack.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, the patterns of the blocks, there's like a set number of patterns it could be, but it's still random. So you kind of have to memorize them. And then where Kamek spawns up where Kamek spawns each time is pretty much completely random. I'm pretty sure there's a set number of places he can be, but there's like a ton of them. You can't really memorize it.
And you can get away with not having those block formations memorized, but I mean,
You definitely can, yeah.
Like, I don't have any of them memorized at all, though I'm sure it saves time if you have them memorized. Like, it makes it easier to get optimal IGTs.
Yeah, I basically have it so that I can recognize which one it is and know, do I run left or right? And that's basically all I do. Like, because once you know what direction to go at the start of the fight, then you can kind of just get up to the top more quickly and get onto Kamek.
I will say, if you're not familiar with the patterns, I mean, it can be hard to just move around the blocks. Like, I remember, I think I was messaging you about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, I was having a hard time. I was losing a ton of runs to that level, just because I was just like, it wasn't due to RNG. Like, it was just straight up me doing a terrible job moving around those blocks, and I just had to grind that boss fight to get like into my brain. Like, okay, I may not memorize the patterns of those blocks, but at least if I see a pattern, I know how to move around, even if it takes me half a second to recognize what it is.
I don't know if anyone noticed this, but on Lugia's screen there, he actually picked up a power-up in 5 Secret as Nabbit, and when he finished the level, after getting like the little course clear fanfare, it had like this animation of him getting a 1-up. So for every power-up you pick up, you actually get a 1-up as Nabbit, but it loses time to do that. And so
That's true.
Ideally, you wouldn't pick up any power-ups as Nabbit if you're going to do a level as Nabbit. And that's not really important in this run, but in all castles, there are places where like you could accidentally grab a power-up and it would lose some time at the end. But yeah, I don't know, just a fun fact.
Lugia is over at 7-1. Meanwhile, Jack is heading off to 7C. I'm very proud of Jack. This is a very solid run for him. I think we're still looking at sub 30, I think. Depends on what.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell from the pace, but yeah.
Again, choosing to wait up there. I guess it's fine due to cycles, but I still wouldn't choose to do that. That'd be my humble opinion. My opinion's also not very humble. I don't know much about
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how to do this level as Nabbit, to be totally honest. Or like what the fastest
Okay, so
way.
I did figure out, you should check my world record, because I did, you can, where that final Bony Beetle was? You can stand there without crouching, and that last platform will just go right over your head.
You know what? Actually, I think I did something similar. I wall jumped in between the walls and kind of waited for the platform to
Yeah,
go over.
you could do that too. I didn't want to wait for the wall jump. I was worried about wall jumping and that kind of thing and maybe dying, and so I just chose to sit there and wait. But you can
Yeah,
definitely sit there as Nabbit and be fine.
yeah, and then like we said right here, Ludwig's gonna make some clones of themselves, but the one that shoots 3 different energy balls out of his wand is always the real one.
So it's the
That's
far
kind of
left
the
one.
indicator.
He doesn't know
No.
that though. It's unfortunate.
That's okay.
It just continues adding to the time loss. It's whatever.
There's just a lot of like little things you have to know about this game, and once you figure them out, it helps a lot.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much the little things actually add up at the end of the day. There's still a lot of little things that I don't even know about that I could implement into my runs.
Yeah, there probably are, and I mean me as well. Even recently, with like some new runners joining, I found out about some small things that I wasn't even doing, and like, I guess I should mention like I have like I guess it's the world record, but it's for the deluxe version, so it's not actually faster than the Wii U world record. But I mean, it can only go down by a couple seconds at this point, so I'm kind of trying to save every bit of time that I can. And even recently, I found out that there were actually a lot of small things that I didn't realize I could be doing to save time. And having some runners of NSMBU like pick up this game recently, they actually like told me, yeah, you could do this and this, and it's actually faster. And that was just so cool to find out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be seeing a sub 2640 run of this on deluxe soon enough.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
When are you grinding? You did. Come on.
I don't know. I'm more interested in all castles, but
We'll
see
seriously
if I do
All right,
that
we're
soon.
doing the stay stressed version of this airship skip.
This is like the scariest airship skip I've ever seen.
This is.
I wonder if he
I
understands
want to,
like how much easier it is.
like I would rather do the trick or just wait the whole time. Like I
mean,
would be
what he
less
did
scared
is
of
still
waiting.
faster.
It
What
is
he
still
did is
faster,
still
but it
faster than
feels more
waiting.
scarier to me.
Definitely.
I don't know how he did it. I mean,
Here's the
also,
thing.
I guess also to be fair, you could no balls it because at the end of the day, there's gonna be the blocks that are on, or the crates that are on the right side will always spawn an acorn. So if you lose acorn, it really isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, if he had lost Acorn, what he could have done is just stayed put and waited for that cloud to get to him, and then ride the cloud to the end. And he can get an Acorn during the auto-scroller section. Ooh. Yeah, that's what we're talking about with Bowser Jr. having kind of a wonky hitbox.
I hate when that happens. That happened to me way too often in NSMBU. Lost way too many runs to that.
And if you don't get your 3 quick hits on him, then this fight becomes pretty much random.
Yeah.
And it's rough.
This could cost Jack's PB. He's not careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hate to see it, folks. You hate to see it.
That's rough.
And he'll have to go from the beginning of the level, too, because there's no checkpoints. So he'll have to
be honest,
airship skip completely over.
I know Lugia restarted his run. I think he would actually be about even with Jack at this point if he hadn't
I would
restarted.
agree if he hadn't reset.
We're gonna see what this auto-scroller actually looks like. I haven't seen this in a while.
Yuvity is too busy playing things fast that he forgets how good a game actually is. He forgets that you can actually enjoy a game for fun. Oh, Jack!
You can skip it as Nabbit
gosh.
as well. Wow.
Right. Jack, you literally could have gotten an acorn, bud. Jack, what's up, bud? Interesting.
That's okay. Lugia's making his way through 7 Castle here.
Yeah. He has the. I mean, if Jack keeps messing this up, like Lugia's got a chance to come back. It's catching up
even
pretty quick.
Even with starting over.
Lugia's going up to Ludwig right now.
This auto score looks so difficult.
why does Jack do it like that? Like you can, if you wait on the right side of the platform, you'll be better. Also,
Yeah.
there's an acorn in those question blocks, dude.
I'm not sure he knows that. He's probably not used to doing
He does
the
know
auto
that
score.
because he ground pounds. I don't know if you noticed when he has acorn, he ground pounds on that third block every single time, and an acorn just falls out. So I guarantee you, I guarantee you, he knows there's an acorn in those blocks.
Well, it's okay.
I wonder if there's an acorn. There's probably an acorn from those red coins.
There probably is, because most levels that give you acorns will also give you acorns from the red coins. I don't know. I honestly don't know a ton about this game, like, casually. I just know, like, the speed strats.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not super knowledgeable in, like, backup power-ups and stuff like that. Yeah, I think Jack's a little upset, and understandably so. That is a pretty annoying thing to happen. Whoa.
Yeah,
that was
really
a little close.
That was really close.
That's pretty funny. Let's see how Bowser Jr. goes. Nice.
Nice. Solid. Pretty fast, too.
So see, like, even though he pops out of the car, Jack doesn't go and try to hit him immediately.
Except
was
there!
Early. Yeah.
Ah, except there. You spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Yikes.
There's kind of a visual cue for it, like, when to go. You basically wait till his red arms, like, pop out. And then you don't go immediately, you kind of wait, like, a tiny bit. And then do, like, a full jump and a fly. That's kind of my visual cue. It also just takes timing. No, I've seen some people do some other things. I don't know. There's a couple cues. M-Chan has a method where he basically stays in the air the entire time. Like, he doesn't go to the ground at all.
Wow.
I don't know. It works for him.
Alright.
Oh. Oh, interesting. I think... So he intentionally took a death as Luigi, so he could use Nabbit for the airship. Because in the Wii U version... because the game automatically takes you into the level, you can't hold down ZL and enter the level.
Yeah.
And so you can't play as Nabbit the first time, so you have to intentionally die if you want to use him there. It's a really interesting idea.
Does that mean for Nabbit percent and the OG version, they have to kill themselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, Jack still has many opportunities for messing up, considering the fact that he's got no acorn. So
I'm interested to see. Yeah, we finishes this run up.
I'm interested to see if he how he chooses to finish the run. Why would you? Yeah, why would you not? And then also, I'm interested to see if he is going to remember to switch away from Nabbit for 8-4 and go for backup acorn.
Yeah, he could do that. He could also switch to Toadette for 8-4 and grab a Super Crown, but I don't know. I think that is actually the fastest option, but...
Would that screw up, though, the cycles in 8-4, is the question, to make it... Would that make
definitely
8-4
would.
harder?
Yes.
So it would,
and it would also...
harder.
It would change how you do the elevator and the castle, so I'm not sure if he wants to do that, or if he'd rather just go for an acorn.
I mean, for a castle, I don't care. I BS my castle movement, which is probably not the way I should be playing the castle movement. But, so I don't care about
pretty
castle.
easy
But
way
8 elevator,
86.
8 elevator, I would be very worried about losing acorn. Sorry, not losing acorn. I would be worried about losing crown because I would fly slower, so it'd be harder to avoid the electricity at the end. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah, I think something I need to do before I do my first match this week is just practice doing the last 3 levels with Super Crown.
Bye, Lugia.
Oh gosh.
That's a rip.
In case I lose acorn, because I would like to be able to do that as a backup rather than force fireworks in 8-4 to get another acorn.
You're saying you would rather do the Super Crown?
Yeah, because I think it's faster. It's just
I mean, if you get used to the cycles, I feel like it would be in the end.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing.
I think it depends on how much you fly in 8C.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like, if you do a lot of flying in 8C, then that could potentially not be saving any time, I would feel like.
Even then, I don't think so, because you're losing almost 20 seconds from
That's true.
forcing fireworks. Actually, maybe more than 20 seconds. So
I think 20 seconds is reasonable. The cutscene is
I
like...
want to say I timed it. It was like 22.
Really?
So, yeah. Well, because you have to
Interesting.
wait for the clock to go down to 77, and then you have to watch the whole
okay.
cutscene.
That's right. I'm only thinking about I'm just thinking about the cutscene.
Yeah.
I should be thinking about that the whole bigger picture.
So I think picking up the Super Crown is your better option. Anyhow, it doesn't look like he did that, so I don't know why we're talking about it, but that's okay.
True. Oh wait, he went for... Oh. Well, so much for that conversation.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay as Nabbit for the rest of the run, which might be a smart
Probably.
choice, to be honest, because, yeah, it might just make this easier.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, at
Lugia
this
is
point-
just doing the airship level as Nabbit.
I think at this point he knows he's not on PB pace, so he's just trying to finish up the run.
Yeah,
Smart choice.
I don't blame him for that.
I still stand by what I said. Nabbit is harder for most levels in this game,
I would
even
agree.
though he's invincible.
Mostly because you can't fly.
Yep.
Like the acorn really makes things a lot easier. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
this
Mario
is-
Maker 2 you play,
yeah.
but you know that the physics are different from Mario Maker 2 for
They're
acorn.
completely different.
I
yeah.
literally-
For
I remember-
propeller as well.
Yeah, I remember for Ninja speedruns, but they had that whole level for... Why would you... Oh, okay. That's probably gonna be death. Oh, never mind. But like the Ninja speedrun, when it came out with the Acorn Ninja speedrun, I was like, oh dude, I'm gonna like kill this. And then I see the movement is just awful, and I was like, oh. I am immediately
Yeah.
interested in it.
Mario Maker puts a lot of interesting spins on the power-ups because they tend to not be the same as they are in like any of the original games. I don't know. I personally run like I run NSMBU and NSLU, and then I also run SMW, and
Right.
Mario Maker is just so
Well,
different
NSMBW.
for those.
Oh, well,
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's,
and
that's
then-
the propeller.
Yeah, because the propeller power-up is also in Mario Maker. It's also not the same. So, yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. They changed that.
Jack going into the final boss, though.
Yep.
Probably
So as long
a
as he
30
makes it through this first room, he's basically set.
Yeah. And he knows he's very far ahead, so he'll definitely take his time here.
Yeah, I just want somebody to find a strat for this first room to do it as Navit. I should probably look into that.
It would be interesting to check out.
I
It
guess we
would
should
make
mention... Yeah,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Bowser Jr., it might seem like he just comes or slams his card down randomly like that, but it's actually completely based on
Holy
your
cow.
movement, so wow. As long
was
as you
very
do that room the same every time, he will always slam down at the same points. So that's
Interesting.
kind of how it works as Luigi. But the second you start to mess up, then it gets really obnoxious. Okay, so yeah, Jack should be good to finish now. The
Yeah.
only thing that could stand in his way is if he ran out of time on Bowser, which is very unlikely. Also, like, kind of random, but that switch right there that he just landed on, you want to land as far right on it as possible, because after that, your character is going to walk off to the right at a very slow speed. So the further right you are, the less walking at that slow speed he has to do. So even though, if you were going for a very good in-game time in the level, you would want to land on the left of the switch, but in a real-time run, it's faster to go on the right, even if you get a slightly worse in-game time. Alright, Luigi is in World 8 now.
Nice. There is, if you practice this movement, you can do 8-1 as a Nabbit without having to stop and wait for
Yeah,
seconds.
I feel like that would be something good for both of them to learn, because it's actually way easier to do it
it
if
is
you
way
just
easier
keep
to
running
just
to the
go
right.
through. There's also a way that you can jump through. Before this section, there's the section with a ton of brick blocks that are in that triangular-shaped pattern. There is a way. I'm worried that Lugia's not gonna make it now. That the meteors could have destroyed those last bit of brick blocks, and he could have been totally screwed. But there is a way that you can do that set of triangular brick blocks right before that, without getting stopped by them. There's a couple different ways you can do it.
Yeah. Alright, let's see how this Bowser fight goes. So he got the cart back, which is good.
He's going under. That's one way to do
Yeah.
it. Oh! That is the downside of going under. And that's if you choose to stay under. That's why it's important that you learn how to do it over and only resort to under as your last resort.
Yeah, letting Bowser go over you like that is kind of just a backup, and like you just saw, you can get screwed by Bowser Jr. just jumping up like that, which actually happens pretty often.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's rough. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about dying, he just has to worry about finishing.
Bowser Jr. nowhere to be seen. Oh my gosh, I didn't know he was so fast. He's kind of booked it.
I don't know if that's a good idea. Generally, you want to make sure you hit Bowser Jr. before you go up into the car. Ooh.
He's making it. Oh, I think he could have made that.
That actually almost works somehow.
Yeah. I think he should have been able to make that if he had spun. I think. Definitely looking like this will be a good GG for Jack, though.
Yep. The thing is, if Lugia hadn't restarted, I think he would still be an 8 castle or so by now.
I agree. It'd be a lot closer. It would be a lot closer.
Alright, GG's to Jack.
GG's to Jack. Do we know if we do post-game interviews for this tournament or no?
I think we can, yeah. I think if they want to join, they will.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
It's up to them.
That is true. Very, 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 very decent matches, though. Congratulations to Jack, who will be moving on to round 2. And Lugia is not out for good. Lugia still has... It is a double elimination bracket, and we'll be starting those losers matches in probably about a week or so. Actually, I could be wrong on that. That could be any...
I'm not sure about the losers one. I know about round 2, it is starting, like...
Round 2 starts tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
So round 2
I'll be in my first match this week.
Yeah. You play Nevada?
DCA, Diamond Craft Array.
Oh.
So, ooh, wow.
You know, one thing I noticed about the Wii U version versus the Switch version? The background for 8 Elevator is lighter than it is in the Switch version. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's actually that's in a couple levels. The background on the Switch version is just like altered slightly for whatever reason. I think you see it more in like all castles, but yeah, I don't know why they did that. The interesting change. I think it's for any castle level, actually, I believe.
Interesting.
But
Lugia is interested in finishing his run, so we'll go ahead and see that
that's
through.
fine. He's almost done.
He is almost done, so it's all good. Can respect the play. There is something to be said about actually finishing a run. Definitely does a lot to your mentality to finish more runs than to reset. Makes it a lot harder. It makes it a lot harder to stay motivated if you're constantly resetting.
No, I mean, yeah, I think that would be one of my main tips for anyone picking up this game is try to finish a lot of runs. And also, if you can do backup
Rip the
acorns, do them. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That just looks so difficult to do as Nabbit.
Yeah. I had a pretty decent 8C as Nabbit. Like, it wasn't amazingly fast, but I didn't get... I think I must have just gotten lucky with my movement, and Bowser Jr. didn't screw
At least
me
you
over
didn't
much.
die.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did die in my any percent Nabbit world record, technically.
Oh, whoops.
I was more talking about, I did a practice race against Nevada, and I had to do this, and I got like a 28, 29 XX, and I had Nabbit for this final level, and had very, like...
Nice.
decent enough movement that I would call that I'd be happy with. It is very difficult. That is another death. It is.
Yeah, because the
to
thing
be
is,
fair, yeah.
when you're... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you're Luigi, you fly over all those platforms. You're not even worried about if they're in the lava
Yeah.
or not. So
Right.
when you're Nabbit, it's just a whole different level almost.
Right. Now, I mean, if you are timing your spins, you can stay in the air pretty long if you get bounced up by Bowser Jr. because your jump height is so high.
Yes, you can.
So if you can get on top of Bowser Jr., I think maybe even the quicker you can get on top of Bowser Jr., possibly the better.
Yeah, there's actually... Okay, I've worked on, like, finding some Nabbit strats. There's actually a way to do the elevator skip completely as Nabbit, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a lot harder than the way to do it as Luigi, but yeah, because your character jumps so high, and you have the ability to press ZR to stay in the air for longer, you can actually get some huge jumps as Nabbit. And so yeah, like you can skip the entire elevator level as him. It's just not
Really?
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No wonder you're saying like 27XX was possible, because I was curious to see. I was curious to see how much more you could get it down from 28. I'd love to see if I can get down to a 28 as Nabbit.
I don't
Honestly,
care about Nabbit,
a no death would get a 29. I feel like. Let's be real, at least.
I honestly have no idea. I mean, Nabbit only is very RNG based. The Bowser Jr. and the Kamek boss fights are pretty decently consistent with Luigi.
Yeah.
But with Nabbit, there's just super RNG heavy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, it's still
Which is why I
RNG
would
heavy as
suggest-
Luigi.
Yeah, I would suggest if anyone is like interested in picking this up, as much as Nabbit might seem like the easier choice for most levels, try to like use Luigi for at least the boss fights, because he takes all the RNG out of him, and not all of it, but he takes a lot of the RNG out of him.
Yeah,
and it's so much nicer.
I would agree. Lugia moving on up to the final boss, though.
Oh.
Oh, and camera move. There we go. See how he deals with this boss fight.
Yeah, Bowser's real interesting because, well, you're not going to see it here, but as Luigi, what you can actually do is fly up in front of his face, and he won't shoot the second fireball here. And then after that, it's basically just about staying in the cart, but if you fly above his shell, it actually makes him jump up at you one less time and saves like 4 seconds throughout the fight, I think. I don't know, it's really weird, like how this fight works. I don't even fully understand it, I just know how.
Lugia almost got it there. Lugia was really close to getting it. Yeah. If he had just turned back around the other way, he would have probably made it.
Precise. All right, is that hit number 2?
That is hit number 2.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. There's one more hit to go.
Gonna get wow.
Okay.
And that was invincibility.
That somehow worked.
Right, you must have invincibility frames as you get into the car, and the car flies up.
Wait, what?
Well, otherwise, like I feel like you must have invincibility frames. Otherwise, he would have Bowser Jr. would have knocked him out of the car. Right? Maybe that's
Bowser
wrong.
Jr. touched him. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyhow, GG's to Lugia for finishing still. He actually wouldn't have finished that far behind had he not restarted his run, because I think he was about 2.5, or Jack was about 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
When Lugia started.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, it's still very good. That's all we have to say. So yeah, there will be more tournament races this week. So
yeah, definitely check the schedule. You can type !NSLU in the chat if you are interested in seeing like the links to our Discord, the links to the schedule. If you're interested in seeing more races, we definitely have, I think, 2 more races tomorrow. There you go. Video just did it in the chat right now. You can join our Discord server. You can check out the bracket, and you can check out the schedule to see what more matches are coming up. I know I have a match tomorrow, and I think there is another match that's going to be happening tomorrow. So yeah, definitely come back. There will definitely be a lot more NSLU content in the coming weeks. This tournament will be going on for quite a while, and it's going to be a lot of fun to participate in. I'm looking forward to seeing where this will go.
Yeah, and I guess I'll have my first match sometime this week. Oh,
Yeah.
Lugia might want to do an interview.
If you, yeah, they might need to. Yeah.
So
they'll have to somehow
it
get
might
in
not
here.
be quite done yet. Okay. So yeah, if Lugia wants to do an interview, I'll give him if he's gonna join.
Do they have access to the way we're doing this?
They should after their race ends, I believe.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But it might take a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, in the meantime, I guess I don't even know when I'm gonna be doing my race, but my plan is kind of just to not be stupid and basically go for consistent stuff. So I don't know if you're gonna see anything crazy from me, but I'm just gonna hopefully try to have some consistent runs.
Yeah. I mean, DCA got a pretty chunky PB though in his first race, so I mean, could be a bit more of a threat. He got 28XX.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it was a very decent time. He saved his.
Wait,
he got like 2 minutes off his PB.
Wait, no, I think he has a 27. It's just not submitted.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah,
I was just going off of what I saw in on the leaderboards, and it was a 30XX. Still, definitely a 28 is not something to scoff at.
Yeah, and I think it could be decently close, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would be interested. I think one mistake from either of us is going to make the difference.
Yeah, I agree.
DCA is a very, like, how do I put it? He can play really optimally, like, at any game he puts his mind to. And so, even if he hasn't put together, like, the most consistent run yet, because I'm positive he could get, like, a low 26 if he wanted to. Even if he hasn't put that together yet, he still knows, like, all the optimal strats. So that should be an interesting race.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Lugia says 1 minute, so we'll see if he pops in here in a second.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess you don't know what day you're racing this week. You just know that it's happening this week.
Yeah, I just haven't decided. Oh, we are in the, like, speed game.
Are we allowed to say that?
Commentary. I mean, no, I mean, that's a known thing.
Okay.
We're in that voice chat. You should get a DM about it on Discord. I don't know. Hopefully you can find it. If not,
we'll just end it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely was a ball to commentate with you. What an honor.
Sure. Thanks. But
you're the world record holder. How could it not be an honor? I'm just some measly NSLU runner.
Your PB is actually very close to mine, though.
To be honest. 50 seconds. Not very close.
It's decently close.
Close enough. I guess.
I gotta practice this game, man. I haven't been playing. I've actually been
doing all castles the other day. When was the last time you did all castles? I guess that was like a week ago.
About a week ago. It was about a week ago that I last played this game.
Did you get any PBs, or did you just
No, I did not.
Over and over again?
Yeah, I've been trying to get the
what a big mouth.
Like, sub
oh my gosh.
And
you're like, what a big mouth. It's like, oh man, all castles is free. All castles world record free. It's easy. M-Chen said it's easy. Has yet to get it.
It's funny because I think M-Chain and I both know it's pretty free. And like neither of us have gotten it yet, and it's stood for like almost a year at this point. Or maybe it's not a year. I don't know. It's been a while though.
It's been a fair amount. Look, it's Lugia.
I'm here now.
Hi, Lugia. There. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing very well. How about you?
Doing all right. How was the GG's on the race? GG's on a PB. You PB'd by a pretty large amount today.
It was phenomenal. I had no idea I would destroy PB by that much. I think, and the best part of it is that I still have room to improve. I died 2 times and I still got a 4-minute PB. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how much you can improve still. For
Yeah.
sure.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Lots of awesome time save.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess one thing I think you, Video, and I both noticed while you were doing your run is you went 7-3 instead of 7-2. I think both times.
I was watching the Twitch stream while I was playing, so I did notice that you sort of expressed concern. So in the second run, I did do 7-2 instead, and I noticed that it was faster. So I think
Yeah.
from now on, I'll be doing that.
Does save a couple seconds, so.
yeah, if you got any questions about anything,
Yeah.
we're all here to answer
We're all
them.
here to help out. Hit us up. We're always here to
Really?
serve.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And
Yeah. No
or the
problem.
guess
star
that's
in
all I have to
Five
say.
Ghost House if you want to find out about that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
star in
the
Five Ghost
star
House.
in the ghost house. I need to learn about that because
Yeah.
otherwise
Yeah.
I have to do a double jump at the very end of the bridge and do 2 pretty much perfect spin jumps or spins to even to barely land on the. There's hardly any margin for error.
Which,
If
when
you,
you're running
if you're
on-
going at full speed, you should be able to make it pretty easily.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then also gamepad, when you don't have those perfectly timed spins because
Yeah.
of the restrictions that the gamepad has, it's definitely easier said than done.
Right. All right. Well, I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks for
Awesome.
inviting me to the interview.
Yeah, no
And-
problem, Lugia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job.
GG's on the race, GG's on the PB again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And-
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think this is where we go ahead and end it off.
All right,
thank you
with
again.
that, I think we're done here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Awesome.
So
Thank you
goodbye,
guys so
everyone.
much
Thanks
for-
for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys another
Yep.
time.